Chullin Daf Kuf Lamed Daled, in addition to the Nisayan of learning Torah on a Bin Zmanim trip, instead of going snowboarding to do a little Torah, HaKadosh Baruch Hu locked me out of my computer where I can't record, edit, etc., etc. But we have cell phones in our days, and we're going to have to do with what we have. We learned in the Mishnah that if somebody sells, if the Kohen sells his animal besides the Matnas Kuna, he gets to keep the Matnas Kuna. But if he used the Lashon, Al Menash HaMatana Shali, since he's used the Lashon Al Menash, it's machlokes whether or not there's a shiur in his words. If somebody sells to another person the Bnei Ma'ayim, and in the Bnei Ma'ayim, one of the things is the Keva, which is Matnas Kuhuna, we learned that he has to give it to the Kohen. Whether or not he could go back to the Moicher is a question if he bought it by weight or not. And the Gemara now says that even if he bought it by weight, if the seller never touched it, never weighed it, but the buyer weighed it himself, then the Kohen goes directly to the buyer. But if the seller weighed it himself, then the Kohen could go to the buyer. So the Gemara wants to say that maybe this is a machlekes of Rav Chizda. Rav Chizda says in a very interesting case where Ruvain stole food from Shimon. Then Levi comes along and says, "Hey, I'm going to be a goynev min aganav. I'm hungry. I want to eat the gneva." So he goes and eats the food. Who does Shimon sue? Does he sue the eater Levi, or does he sue Ruvain the ganav? Says Rav Chizda could sue either or. So maybe that's what's going on over here. Maybe our sugi is like Rav Chizda, that the kohen could go to the seller and the buyer. Says Gemara, no, over here the machlekes is different. The machlekes is whether or not Matnas Kuhuna can be stolen at all. And if you hold that Matnas Kuhuna can be stolen, then you could go to the owner, to the seller, because the seller is the one who stole it. We're starting a new Mishnah. The Mishnah says, Akdama to the Mishnah, that the Matnas Kuhuna is chal. When are you chayiv Matnas Kuhuna? By the second you shech the animal. So let's say somebody was misgayer, and he shechted his animal, he's chayiv Matnas Kuhuna. Let's say he shechted it before he was misgayer, and then a minute later he was misgayer, he's potter. Let's say he has a suffix. The kohen has to bring a raya. And in Mamanis, we always go Lakula, as the Gemara is going to bring 4 cases in Mamanis Lakula, and 4 cases of suffix in the Isser that we go Lachumra. The Gemara says, before we go into those cases, suffix leket, leket. So one of the Matnas Saniyim is leket. So if you have a ant hole, and you open it up and you find a lot of wheat, the question is if the wheat was there before there was a chiyuv leket or after. So if it's before the kaitrim came, before the reapers came to take the wheat, then it's the owners. But if it's after, then it goes to the aniyim. Says the Gemara, according to Chachamim, the top part goes to the aniyim, the bottom part goes to the owner. And according to Remeir, the whole thing goes to the aniyim. Why? Safek leket, leket. And now to the svekis in the ger. So let's say the ger was doing reish ger, he forgot if he was a ger reish gez, and he forgot if he was a ger beforehand or afterhand. So since it's mamanis, it goes to you. The kohen has to bring a raya. Peter chamar, you have to redeem it with a sheep. That sheep is money. So mela, the ger doesn't have to give it. If a ger had a boy, and a boy needs to do a pidyon ben, but he's not sure if he was a ger before or after, mamanis, he doesn't have to do it. If it's an isser, such as challah, taking challah off a dough, if a giyoris is not sure if she has to bring a carbon for leda, or if a ger has a firstborn animal, that's already an isser, you can't eat it, so mela, he has to give it to the kohen. If there's no ani, do you do like a chichopei anyways? It's going to go to waste. It says the Gemara big chiddush. It says la'ani, and not to the ravens and to the bats. In other words, do not put like a chichopei out there for no reason. Only if there's any. Yet when it comes to truma, it says nesina. So the Gemara says you have to be more careful by truma. You have to make sure you find a kohen. If not, you have to rent a car. You have to rent a cow. The Gemara says, unless there's a kohen in the city. If there's a kohen, then it's his responsibility to take care of it. And if he doesn't want to take care of it, it's his problem. Zroy l'chayim v'keva also says the word nesina. So therefore, you must give it to the kohen. If there's no kohen, what do? You evaluate how much it's worth. You eat it and you give the money to the kohen. There's a difference between zroya and l'chayim when it comes to the skin. When it comes to the skin by the zroya, there's a minhag to cook the skin in order to remove the hair, and then they will eat the meat with the skin. So in such a place, you have to give the skin to the kohen. In other places, you don't. Yet by l'chayim, by the jaw, you have to give the skin regardless of the minhag. Why? Because it says l'chayim, the Gemara darshans that you give the beard of a goat, you give all hair, and certainly what's below the hair, which is the skin. If a person is trying to be a oiber chacham, he's trying to make a trick, he's mafkir his field, and he says, okay, nobody's going to realize that I was mafkir, tomorrow I'm going to come along, and I'm going to grab my own field, be kind, and then therefore I won't have to get leket shichol peah. the pasuk already outsmarted him, and the pasuk says Kazov twice, and therefore he's mechuyev to give like a trikon payah. However, he did gain that he doesn't have to give meiser. The Gemara says an amazing story where they sent a full sack of golden coins to the yeshiva of Ravami to support the Talmidim of the yeshiva. Ravami went and grabbed the sack and made a kinyan for himself. Says the Gemara, but it says v'nasan. How can he do such a thing? Says the Gemara, obviously he was kaina the sack for the aniyim of the city. He didn't want that just the bachar in the yeshiva should benefit from the gold. He wanted to give it to the aniyim also, so he was like. Another reason, says the Gemara, is that he was a Goladar, and there's a chiyuv to make sure that the Goladar has money. So Mela, he was zoicha for himself. He made sure that everybody gave him money. As the Gemara brings the pasuk, it says Hakayin Hagadol Me'achiv, that the Kayin Hagadol has to be greater than his brothers. What does that mean? How is he greater? So the Gemara Benoi in his beauty, in his smarts, in his chachma, and in his ashirus. He has to be richer, better looking, and smarter than everybody else. Acherim say that it means that if he's not wealthy, you have to build him up with wealth from the tzibur. Now says the Mishnah, the final Mishnah in Perek Zroya Chaim. Today we're being Messiah Bezer Hashem. What area is the Zroya? So we discussed our Kuvan and Perek and Merosh. There's the bottom part of the leg of the para of a cow which has no meat, that goes together with the head always because it's worthless. Above that, like by the knee and above, 2 bones up, that is the Zroya up to the shoulder blade, but not including the shoulder blade. If you take those 2 bones and you put them in the rear of the animal, the thigh, that is shoik, which you have to give to the kohen when you give shlamim. According to Rabbi Yehuda, you only give 1 bone in that situation. Lachi is from the jaw all the way back to the shipui akeva, which is the, I think the Adam's apple maybe in English, but basically it's like you see in the picture. The brisa that says that you give it together with the Beis HaShchita. Now, it could be 2 things. It could be that you give the lechi, the jaw, together with the Beis HaShchita, and it could also mean that you give the animal with the Beis HaShchita. Now, if you say that it goes together with the Beis HaShchita, that doesn't go according to our Man Omar, it doesn't go according to Chacham, it goes according to Chanina ben Atignois, who says that the Makom Shchita is a little different. Otherwise, it just means, if it goes according to our Man Omar, it means that it goes together with the rest of the animal. In other words, it's not included in the lechi. When the Torah says Hazroya with a Hey Hayidiyah, it means the right Zroya. Just like Rav Darshan by Yaakov Avinu, Hayerech Hamiyumenes, the Yerech. So by us is also the right one. There's the Darshei Chamurais, the ones who darshan the starim in the Torah, the Seiser in the Torah, and they said that the reason why Kosh Baruch Hu gave Kohanim Zroya, L'chayayim V'keva is because of Pinchas. Because he lifted up his hand with the Roimach, with his right hand. So therefore you know it's with the right. And he was mispalel, so that's why you give the lechi, the jaw, and he hit her in kevasa, in the keva, that's why you give the keva. And finally, ha-keva comes to say that it comes to be marba, the fat above the keva, and the milk inside the keva. Like it says, Reb Shmuel, the lady says, the kohanim, even though that the milk belonged to them, they were misnaig ba'ayin yafa with a generous eye, and they would give the Yisrael, the owner, they would give him the milk that was inside the keva. Have a wonderful day.